This is Ryan.
And I'm John.
Welcome to preview season.
Oath of the Gatewatch.
All right, the first card we've got up here today is going to be Scion Summoner.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty obvious 3 mana for 3 power and 3 toughness spread out over 2 bodies.
Yeah, this is a take on existing cards like Eyeless Watcher, Incubator Drone, stuff where you just kind of get these Eldrazi Scions from one card as kind of gravy on top of the biscuit, if you will.
Yeah, and sometimes getting a second body there stapled onto one card can actually have some real potential, especially if you look at sort of the cards that reward you for having lots of small bodies. I'm talking like Inspired Charge or any of those sort of Anthem effects that boost up your whole table. Getting 2 bodies off of one card makes those guys twice as good.
Yeah, having another version of the Eldrazi Scion generators is pretty cool, but unless green gets a lot better in draft with this set, this card is just not going to be very good.
Well said. So let's take a look at Shoulder to Shoulder. This one's going to support you, again, for having more dudes on the table. It actually teams up really well with tokens and those Scions, like we're saying. Turning 2 1/1 Scions into 2 2/2 Scions isn't terrible.
So the cantrip takes this from unplayable to a borderline acceptable 23rd card. The Claws Draw card really does a lot, because right now this isn't even a combat trick. It's a sorcery, so you're not going to ambush anybody with this. People are going to see it coming. The sorcery part of it really makes it bad, but the card draw aspect of it kind of makes up for its slow speed.
All right, so that brings us to Stonehaven Outfitter, a rare. This guy looks like he kind of depends on how good the equipment is in the set. We haven't seen a lot of other equipment previewed yet, so it's really hard to gauge how effective he's going to be.
Yeah, he totally could be fine in a low-powered format, but ultimately, he doesn't let you do the important things that cards like it did before, which is let you cheat on mana.
Yeah, it's worth remembering, though, at worst, he's still just a bear, right? A 2-mana 2/2. He doesn't really have any downside, per se, but getting any use out of his natural abilities is going to be kind of dependent on whether we see some amazing equipment in the next set here. So
That's a great point. We're going to round this out with Walker of the Wastes. You can only cast it with colorless mana, and it starts as a 4/4 for 5, but it's got some upside to it.
Right, so best case scenario, right, you play Wastes for turns 1 through 5, slam this guy down, and you now have a 9/9 trample at the expense of not playing any other colored cards in your deck at all.
Right. The problem here is that playing all these Wastes in your deck is a very real cost, and I don't think the return you're getting, just a big creature, is worth the cost of making your deck's mana worse.
That's true. What about in a limited deck, though, maybe? You do squeeze in a Waste to get this guy out. He's a 5/5 trample around turn 5 or 6. That wouldn't be terrible.
But I think you can do better than this guy.
All right. Well, we'll keep our eye out for some more new cards coming up during preview week. Check back with our next video in the series, and thanks for watching.
Bye.